can't see or anything out of this shit. You can see my reflection, so you can see my beard coming through. Anyway, today I'm doing the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Shattered Grid, the quintessential Power Ranger story. Now this mask is incredibly hot, so I'm going to take this, go straight to the review, and then we're going to come back. This is Power Rangers Shattered Grid, the Collected Series. And let's take this off. Here we go. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Shattered Grid. Higgins, Parrot, Denucleo, Galindo, Behemoth, Costa. If I pronounced any of those wrong, forgive me. I went with the trade paperback version, which it collects everything. It's a Shattered Grid. It's the soft cover from Boom Studios. The biggest Power Ranger event in comic book history. Lord Drakkon, a twisted alternate reality version of Tommy Oliver, a.k.a. the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger, and his newly reformed army are crossing dimensions in order to execute an all-out attack that threatens the very existence of every Power Ranger ever. For the first time in comic book history, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers will join forces with some of the most popular Power Ranger teams in the franchise. That's a load of bullshit. Across time and space to face the ultimate threat, one that will mean the death of a Ranger. Okay, so basically, and this is the collected. Like I said, there's a beautiful hardcover collection. I'm just not the biggest Power Ranger guy in the world. Like, I like them, so for this one, I just went with the soft cover, a little bit lower in price. But this is like one of the most critically acclaimed stories ever. And you see in an alternate reality, because this kind of shows you a little bit of the from Free Comic Book Day. It does collect. I'll tell you at the end. But there is a grid, and this grid is what keeps all the different universes separate, so to speak. It's a little odd as I'm flipping. Here are the Rangers we know, like Zach and Billy and Jason, Kimberly, all of them. Well, the bottom line of this is this is our Tommy. Okay, this is the Tommy we know. Tommy's here on Earth, and boom, Tommy gets stabbed by Tommy. Kimberly tries to save him, but it doesn't do any good because Tommy's dead. Dun dun dun. So anyway, what this is this Tommy Oliver from a different reality is Lord Drakkon. And he is from a reality where with Rita Repulsa, when she made him the Green Ranger, the Power Rangers never beat him. He beat them, he kept the power, and then he eventually killed Rita and then just decided that he was going to rule the entire multiverse. They don't call it the multiverse, they call it the grid. But he was going to rule the multiverse of madness, if you will. And what he had to do was he had to kill different Power Rangers. Well, he kind of didn't really have to kill them. That was just fun for him. But he would take their morphers, and he was using the energy so he could shatter the grid to make his own reality. Well, the Power Rangers are wise to this, especially after he murders the Tommy we know. And they start figuring out, oh, what's going on? So here you have the Samurai Rangers, which that show ran a little long for my taste. But the Samurai Rangers, and he's got this weapon that when he hits the gimmick, it takes away all their morphin powers. So he basically just beats them up, murders them, does whatever, and takes their morphers. He's beating the Samurai Rangers, and Zordon actually isn't just a head, he's a body, and he goes to this like existence where there's all these other, like the Watchers of the Power Rangers, and he's asking for help, and they do a little recap here, it's a nice throwback. There's Bulk and Skull, Jason and Billy, kind of showing how Zordon met them and everything, how they formed the Power Rangers, did the Zord, a nice little redoing. The artwork is a little odd, it's kind of like a throwback, but there, it shows you how Tommy was, from what we know from the show, how Tommy, turned on Rita, joined the Power Rangers, and then we're in the other world, he turned on her too, just later in life when he murdered her and became a guy that was going to go and shatter the grid, so to speak. Zordon wants their help. They tell him, nope, just let your teenagers with attitude do it. And you can see he's going through, the evil Tommy's going through all the different Rangers. I was very pissed off that Dino Thunder were not in here because I personally loved the Dino Thunder show. I was going to say cartoon. The show, I thought it was great. So the fact that they weren't in here, and I really liked Megaforce, a lot too. But, you're doing old school. Now, one of the things I thought was pretty cool, as you see the Rangers are all, they're taking the fight to them. They're teaming up because they've got a few things going for them. Now they found a lady that on another world, she figured out how to take that gimmick that takes away the morphin power and rig it to where it don't work. So the Power Rangers are able to use their weapons, there you can see her there, to you know, fight. And they brought some Zords. You know, Lord Drakkon is still crazy powerful, but now there's a whole bunch of Rangers because they put out the thing. And Skull from Bulk and Skull is actually had weaseled his way into being a guard in Drakkon's army, and he was the one that told him, you know, hey, this is where you got to go. And you know, he was a rat. But you know, I thought that was a nice, poor Bulk. Didn't talk about Bulk here. You know, it's the shattering the grid, you know, does take effect on him. But here they had sent out a thing where our Power Rangers are. They're like in the grid between time and space and shit. And here come all the Power Rangers. You know, they're all there to help him. Yeah, Dino Thunder's right there, but that shit should have been right up front. And they even figure, you know what? Why don't we get Rita Repulsa to help us? Because she created Tommy. So if we get the Rita we know, maybe she can use some of her magic and weaken him. Well, our guys take care of everything. Stop him and his army, close the grid, you know, let's get the Dragon Zord, let's get all about it. And the plan does kind of work, like, because the Power Ranger's power was magical, so, you know, it was a candle, so you just basically put out that candle, and Rita did prove to be a big help, you know, I mean, granted, she was only help until he regained consciousness and murdered her. And then when the story, I thought, kind of took a path to the weird, like, now Lord Drakkon's in the reality that he made, and like he's the superhero of the planet and everybody knows who he is, and he fights crime and he's like worshipped and everybody just likes him. And that's when the Tommy we know, turns out he's not really dead, or is he? You don't really know. It becomes kind of a mind fuck. And you know, he's telling him, you know, this is not the world you know. And you know, he gets through to him and everything starts to change. You know, they're the Rangers are still fighting him. He's in his own reality, in his mind. Like I said, that's where it went a little left field for me. But by doing all this, our Tommy, as you can see, is able to whip his ass. I think it's our Tommy, even though he was dead in the beginning. And, you know, they beat him. They have to leave. They leave him there in his own little world. They come back to our world and it resets the grid, but it saves all the worlds, but they're not going to remember any of this. Dun dun dun. And I never read the follow-ups to it, so I don't know. I like these covers that they did. You get to see all the different covers of the White Ranger outfit. He's holding all the busted masks. The green mask is always cool. There's the Saba, there's the Crystal. I mean, they had multiple covers for this, some really nice holofoils. I've got a couple of the holofoil issues from when it started. That was one of the wraparound covers. Just, you know, companies now are getting crazy with the variant covers. I can't remember which one I had. Maybe when I see it, I'll know. I think I still have it in the box. Like I said, I kind of go more for the collected. Really nice artwork. You know, it ranges from the kid-like, which Boom Studios has always kind of kept the Power Rangers looking more like a throwback, a 50s style comic, which it suits it. I really like that. That would make a really neat painting, actually. We have our another Power Rangers. This is, yeah, like color spotlight variant covers. It tells you, you know, forgive me if I'm reading it. The Legends comic cover. Here's the one main cover, you know, everything. It's a trend that's been popular forever. I like that one. I use that for the thumbnail. And there you have it, you know, and you can buy all these. You know, here's all the volumes. There's the Pink, Saban's Rangers, Aftershock. There's about as many Power Ranger comics as there are incarnations of the show. But this was Shattered Grid. It is considered the quintessential Power Ranger story. Let's take a quick talk. Shortest intro in history. This thing is an awesome display piece, but to wear it, holy crap. But I didn't buy it to wear it. I'm not like a cosplayer. But it looks cool. I need to pick up Lord Zed. Anyway, the intro is so short, we'll make the outro a few minutes longer. That was the Power Rangers Shattered Grid. It's a very cool story. Like I said, it got a little... I was mad that the Dino Thunder weren't in it. It got a little weird with, like, this is the reality he wanted to create, and is this guy dead and not dead? And it kind of... But I'm not a sci-fi guy, but I am a Power Ranger guy. And that's why I wanted to see it. Power Rangers came out, I was I think fresh out of high school, but still like super into partying. So it was like a really fun show to watch, both sober and unsober, so to speak. The only thing that I always wondered was Tommy Oliver. You know, they bring him in. Rita turns him into the evil ranger. He's bad. He's the Green Ranger, and he's beating the shit out of these Power Rangers week in, episode. I think it just ran every day. It did here anyway. Beating the crap out of them. Like, you wouldn't believe. They couldn't do dick. Then they free him. He becomes one of them, and then he just starts getting his ass handed to him like every other chump of that team. So he really should have stayed out on his own. I think Jason David Frank, the guy that plays him, is cool, like, because he's embraced the Power Rangers, and I like that. And he's never ashamed of it. It's like he still does to this day conventions in Power Ranger garb. Hell of a martial artist too. But if you were a fan of the old Power Ranger show, any of them really, you will get a kick out of this. Like I said, Boom draws it a little more, I don't want to say Archie-esque, but it's very colorful. It's very bright. It's not a kid's book, but it almost looks like it is, like a throwback to an old school type thing, which I like about that. They've been doing a hell of a run with the Rangers. I don't read it normally. It's just this was like one of the most critically acclaimed books to come out when it did. So I wanted to finally sit down and read it. Like I said, there's a hardcover collector edition. It's beautiful. And then there's what I have, which is just the trade paper, the soft. It's same stuff. I think the hardcover you might get like some extra. You can always get a few extra things, drawings and such like that. This was more the price point for a story I wanted to read because, like I said, I don't normally read their comics. I'll probably pick up a few after this just to see what had happened. But this is pretty cool. Like, if you're a Power Ranger fan, it's definitely a must-read. If you're a sci-fi fan, it's a must-read. Average comic fan, I really would recommend you drop $25 and read it. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I read something and I think it's garbage, I'm just not going to review it. Because why should I review something and tell you don't need to read it? You're just wasting your time. That should be the review. Hey, this isn't good. Don't read it. I'm only going to really review the stuff that I like. And I did like this one. And I would recommend anybody pick it up. Please be sure to hit the like. Please subscribe. We're on the road to we got to start off. We're on the road to 2,000 right now. So we got to start in increments. We're on that road. Let's tell your friends. Let's like, subscribe, and come back tomorrow for another book.